Just imagine I showed up at the wedding of the daughter I'd raised alone for 28 years, the one I gave my entire life to, and she looked me in the eye and said, "Dad, I'm sorry, but you weren't invited. Go away." I didn't ask why. I just stood there in the marble ballroom. I'd paid for holding the gift I'd wrapped with my own hands, and I walked out in silence. But within 2 hours, her perfect wedding turned into a nightmare. Revenge. No, it was justice. Before we continue, please like and subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments where in the world you are listening from today. The champagne flute slipped from my fingers the moment her words landed. I didn't notice the crash, only the way she flinched when the glass shattered. It wasn't fear, it was embarrassing, like I was an unexpected blemish on her curated masterpiece. I stood there in the grand entrance of the Whitmore Estate ballroom, beneath a chandelier that sparkled like judgment, holding a white box wrapped in satin ribbon, the kind of ribbon she used to tie around her ponytails in third grade, back when everything I did still impressed her. Claire looked away as the room paused, not visibly, not obviously, but in the way that people in expensive clothes instinctively shift when something doesn't fit the setting. The chatter softened, the string quartet missed a beat, and then she stepped closer, heels clicking like punctuation marks on marble. "Dad, what are you doing here?" Her voice was soft but firm, like a velvet rope. Behind her, Nathaniel appeared, smiling the way men do when they're trying to manage something unsightly. I'd seen that smile before on clients attempting to look grateful while fighting a losing bid. I nodded at him politely. He didn't offer a handshake. "You weren't supposed to come," Claire added. Her tone sounded rehearsed. I could tell she'd been planning this. I looked around the room. White orchids flown in from Ecuador, gold-rimmed plates, champagne chilled in crystal towers, everything shining, everything expensive, everything I paid for. My voice came out calm, but my chest tightened like drywall under a hammer. "Just wanted to see my daughter on her wedding day. Dad." She glanced toward the crowd, careful to smile as she spoke. "This is immediate family only." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't ask where that left me. I just stared at her, at the daughter who once wrote me Father's Day poems in glitter pen, who used to crawl into bed with her stuffed rabbit when thunderstorms made her cry, and now all grown up dressed in $12,000 of imported silk. She couldn't even say my name out loud. "I understand," I said. My hand tightened on the gift box, then let go. I set it gently on the cocktail table, next to an untouched flute of champagne. "I wouldn't want to embarrass you." Claire said nothing. Nathaniel's hand moved to the small of her back, guiding her away like a stage manager pulling a nervous actress off cue. My feet didn't move. For a second I thought I might freeze there, cemented like one of the stone lions out front. But instead I turned, walked past the waiters, past the ushers, past the string quartet, trying to find the melody again. Outside, the March air slapped me in the face like the truth. My truck sat at the far end of the lot, wedged between a landscaping van and a Mercedes that probably belonged to Nathaniel's uncle, the one with the vineyard in Selma. I'd parked there deliberately away from the crowd. I knew my place. The cab of the truck smelled like lemon wipes and construction dust, familiar grounding. I sat for a moment staring at the steering wheel. 28 years. I raised her after her mother died in a hospital bed that still haunts me in dreams. I read her books. I cooked pasta the way she liked it, and turned down promotions, so I could leave the office early for school plays. I built a company from the ground up while braiding hair in the mornings, and helping with science fair projects at night. And now she didn't even want me in the same room on the most important day of her life. No, that wasn't right. I reached for my phone, not to call her, not to plead. That part of me had died standing in that ballroom. I scrolled down to my business contacts and tapped the number I'd only used twice in 5 years. First, Liberty National. "This is Nicole speaking." "Nicole, this is Richard Bennett. I need to speak with someone in business services. Urgently." "Certainly, Mr. Bennett. One moment." Hold music crackled. Then another voice came on. "First, Liberty Business Services. Patricia speaking. Patricia, I'd like to issue stop payments on all active transactions related to the Bennett Hughes wedding, effective immediately. There was a pause, a long one. Sir, that includes venue rental, catering, music, and floral design. I know exactly what it includes. Start with the Whitmore Estate Authorization account ending in 8612, passcode 7, RB49 confirmed. I gave her the codes from memory. That's what 25 years in construction teaches. You never trust a contract you can't recall. Each time I listed another vendor, I felt lighter, not vindictive, just precise, like I was restoring balance. Would you like confirmation emails sent to know? I said, I know it's done. I hung up, opened my notepad. 5 more calls to make. Cater, florist, music, photographer, rentals. I started with Marcus, the catering manager. Mr. Bennett, what's going on? Marcus asked. Guests are seated. You'll want to start packing. Payment's been pulled. Consider this a heads up, sir. We have sea-bass fillets in the oven. You'll have them in the van if you move quickly. One by one I made the calls. Each conversation is shorter than the last. Each tone colder, not out of anger, out of efficiency. Years of managing job sites taught me one truth. When something is built wrong, you don't fix the paint. You tear down the foundation and start again. When I finished, I leaned back in my seat. The dashboard clock read 4:12 p.m. I looked back toward the estate. Inside that ballroom, they were still raising glasses, still laughing, still basking in a fantasy funded by a man they no longer considered part of the story. But the flowers would start disappearing soon. Then the music, then the food. One by one the illusions would collapse, not because I wanted to ruin her day, but because she had forgotten who made it possible. And sometimes the only way to teach someone the value of what they have is to take it away. The first call came in just as I was pulling out of the estate driveway. Her name flashed on the screen. Claire. It glowed like a tiny beacon in the dashboard shadows, right next to the fuel gauge, and the soft hum of a truck that had been with me longer than most people in my life. I didn't answer, not because I wanted to punish her, but because silence was finally speaking louder than all the years of saying yes. I let it ring until it stopped. Then I drove. The March sky was heavy clouds pressing down like the weight of old memories. Roads I'd driven for decades felt different now, less like pathways, more like a slow unwind. When I hit the first traffic light past the country club gates, the phone buzzed again. Claire. Second time, I turned it face down on the passenger seat and kept going. 28 years. That's how long I had kept the world off her back. Since the day her mother, Elaine, died in a sterile hospital room smelling of Lysol and loss. I'd been everything: dad, mom, tutor, banker, fixer of broken toys and broken hearts. I didn't remarry. I didn't date. I just worked. Built Bennett Construction from the ground up with my own 2 hands and a second-hand Ford, while raising a daughter who thought magic was the way I showed up at every recital, made every school lunch, and still made payroll on Fridays. But somewhere along the way, magic turned into expectation, and expectation turned into entitlement. The third call came in as I turned onto Hawthorne Boulevard. Still Claire, still glowing. I didn't reach for it. Instead, I thought about the last time she'd hugged me without needing something. Maybe college graduation. Maybe not even then. By the time I got home, she'd called 5 times. Left 2 voicemails. The house was quiet, just like it always was after long work days. My dog, Cooper, passed last fall. The chair by the window still held the dent from where he used to sleep, like he was keeping watch over me. I dropped my keys into the bowl, poured a glass of water, and sat down at my desk. I'd built this desk myself. Oak heavy, permanent, like the kind of man I always hoped to be. The file cabinet beside it held 25 years of records, carefully labeled folders stacked like silent sentinel. Claire Medical, Claire Education, Claire Housing, Claire vehicle, Claire wedding. I opened the drawer labeled education and ran my fingers across the tabs. Riverside Primary, West Hills Academy, Cornell University. Every tuition invoice, every scholarship denial, every urgent request she had ever sent. Most people don't keep receipts for love. I did. The phone buzzed again. Sixth call. I picked it up this time and listened to the first voicemail. Dad, something's wrong. The florist just started removing flowers. They said the payment didn't go through. I don't understand. Can you please call me back? The voice sounded more confused than angry. She still hadn't realized. Still thought this was a technical glitch. A mistake in the system. I didn't call back. I opened another drawer instead. Claire vehicle. 3 cars. Honda Civic at 16. BMW 3 Series at 21. BMW X3 at 25. Paid in full. Titles in my name. Insurance premiums covered. Maintenance logs included. Second voicemail. Dad, this isn't funny. The catering team is pulling out the food. The music stopped. Everyone's staring. Please call me back. I set the phone down and stared at the spreadsheet I'd been building since noon. Line by line. Dollar by dollar. I wasn't tallying it out of spite. I was documenting reality, because reality had been absent in our relationship for far too long. Education $410,000. Vehicles $73,000. Housing assistance $125,000. Personal expenses $180,000. Wedding $147,000. Total $935,000. That number hit me like wet concrete. Slow, suffocating. I didn't regret spending it. What I regretted was never requiring her to understand it. The 7th call came in at 5:18 p.m. This time I answered. Hello. Her voice cracked like thin glass. Dad, thank God. What is going on? People are leaving. Nathaniel's parents are furious. The estate manager says you can let everything. I didn't say anything right away. Dad, I didn't cancel. I said slowly. I just stopped paying. But you can't. I can, Claire. And I did. You made it clear I wasn't part of this wedding, so I simply withdrew my contribution. You don't understand. Nathaniel's family. I understand perfectly. You're embarrassed, but not about what you did.